I'm building a £100 million team, £500 million, and even £1 billion team to see the difference. Starting with the £100 million team. But it's not as simple. I have to first spin a wheel of country, so let's see what we land on. And we get New Zealand. So we actually have to sign 3 players to this starting 11 that are New Zealand, while also only using a budget of £100 million. That's on average around £9 million per position. That's nothing. But after we build these 3 teams, we will then put them all up in the top 5 European leagues to see how big of a difference we can see in all the leagues. But first, let's see what New Zealand players are even on this game. And they don't have that many great players from their country. Their best one is obviously Chris Wood. And you know what? Since the others are looking so bad, I just think we have to try and sign Chris Wood. He's not the worst, but he's actually a pretty decent striker. That's our very first player of the £100 million team, and our first player from New Zealand. So we still need 2 more from that country. And remember, we can only sign 11 players. So whatever player we sign, we have to use them in the starting 11. And these other New Zealand options are really not looking great. They're like really bad. But Kake looks like an interesting option though. He's a left back, so not the most important position, which means we can waste a little more on a bad player. So I have signed him. I just hope he won't affect our team that much, as he is only 72 rated, but he's now in at left back. We have 1 more New Zealand left to sign. I don't even know what position. But out of these New Zealand options, it's looking like Bell is the next best option. He's 74 rated CDM. He does even have a little potential, and he doesn't cost that much. So I think as our third and final New Zealand signing, it's actually a pretty decent one. So that's all 3 New Zealands in the team now. And combined, they costed us $24 million, which leaves us with $76 million for the rest of the starting 11. We really need something great here, so let's see what we can do. Let's first find 2 center backs. And it's between these 4. Acerbi is good and cheap, but also very old. Eric Dier is decent and a little expensive, but he's 6 years younger. Danilo Pereira is kinda in the middle ground. And Dan Burn is both cheap and not the best. But I think let's do a mix. Let's get the first 2, Acerbi and also Eric Dier. And Acerbi has accepted our deal. He is old, but he's also very good, so I just couldn't resist him, especially because we only got him for $7 million. That's a steal. And then we get Eric Dier for only $10 million. So $17 million spent on that center back partnership. I think let's just finish the defense now and get a right back for it. And for that, I've actually gone with Kyle Walker. Yes, I know that's another old player, but Kyle Walker is still pretty good. Only costs $5 million for us, and he makes that defense look complete, but now only $54 million left. Let's first finish the midfield. And the first midfield I've actually gone with for this team is Leandro Paredes. It's a decent little option, I feel like, for them. And only $9 million. But then the big boy, Paul Pogba, he's also joining. What a beast he used to be. Now only worth $10 million. That's actually crazy, but that's the midfield complete. But before we buy some wingers, let's first get a goalkeeper. Goalkeepers are cheap, so we can actually get a good goalkeeper. And good we do get, because David De Gea is going to be the keeper of this team. And for only $8 million as well. That's very good. Just like subscribing to me is very good, because if you don't, you get bad luck. Anyways, that leaves us with $27 million for the 2 wingers. So let's see what we can cook with that. Mahrez for $16 million and El Shaarawy for $11 million. Okay, that's actually a decent team for only $100 million and 3 New Zealand players. But remember, in the end, we will put them up against a £500 million team and a £1 billion team to see the difference. But let's now build the £500 million team. Let's see what the wheel of country lands on this time. And we get Denmark. Now that's interesting. So 3 of the 11 players has to be Danish. I think we can definitely do that. Denmark has a lot of great options. Their best player on the game is Hjulmand, who's worth around $45 million. And that's actually the first player I've gone with already. And we managed to get him for $54.9 million. That's not a bad first signing. The other 2 Danish signings I've gone with is Christensen for right back and Joachim Mæhle for the left back. Again, because full backs are less important. But that's $83 million spent in total on those 3 Danish players, leaving us with $417 million for the rest of the team. Let's finish the midfield first, actually. Now that we have a bigger budget, we can actually sign better players. And that's why with the first midfielder signing, I've gone with Arsenal's Mikel Merino. He's good and he's not old. He costed $37 million. And I've also gone with Alex Garcia for £35 million. So that gives us a full 83 rated midfield. Pretty decent. Now let's, this time, first finish the attack and move down. We still have $345 million left. And with that, we first signed Son for only $40 million. But then we get Phil Foden on the right for $70 million. And for the striker up top, it's the Dortmund striker, the beast himself, Guirassy. And he's joining for $80 million. That attack looks insane. Just imagine what the $1 1 billion pound team attack will look like. But anyways, we have 155 million left still, and we have 3 players left. Let's first get a goalkeeper. Now, do we take Jan Sommer? He's really old, but 87 rated and only worth 2 million. Ter Stegen is a little younger, but also a little worse and a lot more expensive. So I think there is only one correct answer here, and that's to obviously take Jan Sommer. I mean, how can a player be 87 rated and literally only be worth 2 million? It doesn't matter his age. Nobody should be worth 2 million being that good. Anyways, that means we have 153 for 2 center backs. And with that, I've signed Jonathan Tah and also Schlotterbeck. So that's our 500 million pound team complete. It already looks a lot better than the 100 million pound team, but it's not ending here because we are going to double the budget and make one final team. Now let's first spin the wheel of country and see what we get. And we land on Colombia. One player instantly comes to mind, which is obviously Luis Diaz. But the other 2 will be difficult. But I've already mentioned Luis Diaz, so let's just start off by getting him. And he will be joining our team for only 65 million. That's still very cheap compared to our budget. But for the other 2 Colombians, I've decided to go with Sanchez and then also Munoz. So that's the Colombians completed. No need to worry about that anymore. And we still have 882 million left for this team. I think we can definitely get the best of the best, or very close to it at least. This time, for goalkeeper, I've actually gone with Alisson. He's not the most expensive, but he is the top joint highest rated. Then I've signed Di Marco for the left back and Bastoni for the center back. So that's our defense. The Colombians do ruin it a little, but it's still really good. But we still have 670 million left. So let's up our spending just a little more here in the midfield. First midfield signing is Alexis Mac Allister for 100 million, then Barella for 90 million. But the final midfield signing is huge. Jude Bellingham, yes, the one and only, the best midfielder on the game, the most expensive also. He cost us 200 million. That definitely hurts the bank, but he's also worth it because he's so young and good, but only 2 positions left, striker and right wing, and 280 million left. Still a lot. For right wing, it'll be Mohamed Salah for 100 million, which means we have 180 million left, which we can use to sign the big Viking himself, Erling Haaland. Yes, that's right. Erling Haaland as the final signing to the 1 billion pound team. And this is the team. It's insane, like genuinely. But I've also spent 1 billion, so obviously it has to be insane. But look at all the teams side by side. First we had 100 million, then 500 million, and now this 1 billion pound team. All teams will now be put into the top 5 leagues against each other to see the difference. The 100 million pound team is on Sydney, the 500 million is on FC Copenhagen, and the 1 billion is on Ajax. So let's first start with the French league and see how they've done there. Okay, damn. In the French league, we see the 100 million pound team finish 4th, then 500 million gets 2nd, and 1 billion wins them the league. PSG actually got stopped, so 500 million is enough to finish above PSG. But what about the Bundesliga? Let's see if they can also do better than Bayern Munich. And not really. The 100 million pound team still does well and gets 5th here. Then we have the 500 million pound team at 4th, but Bayern in 3rd. And Dortmund, of course, still in 2nd. And then obviously the billion pound team wins it. So it's looking like it's getting tougher and tougher. So let's see how they'll do in the Serie A now. Okay, the 100 million team could only finish 9th this time. It's as if they are moving further and further down, but the 500 million pound team got 2nd, and the billion pound team won it as always. But then what will happen in the La Liga now? Will the 100 million pound team move even further down? Let's see. No, they actually move back up to 6th, with the 500 million getting 5th, but for once, the 1 billion pound team doesn't win. Real Madrid finishes above them. Okay, wow. I didn't expect that. Now I'm really interested to see what will happen in the Premier League. But if you've made it this far, then comment water down below to confuse the other. But anyways, let's just see. The 100 million team only gets 11th, but oh my god, the billion pound team finished in 5th, but then the 500 million pound team somehow finished above them in 2nd and City won. This doesn't make sense. What the hell happened here in the Premier League?